This podcast features adult content not suitable for listeners under the age of 18. You have been warned.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
If there's anybody in our friends group that you can tell me.
I don't think the stars would shine so bright if just one of you were not here.
I mean, I'm probably in the library or at home.
You have my sword.
You're the only person who makes me want to be better than I am.
And my axe.
I wasn't strong enough or fast enough or, I don't know, clever enough. I didn't have it in me to stop what happened.
And the entire time you're speaking, he's jotting down in his book, kind of mindlessly, not making eye contact, more just looking at his notes.
That was very fucking stupid.
I tend to do stupid things a lot.
There's more out there to find, and there's more moments for having.
I'll find a way to be stronger next time.
Interesting. Curious.
I don't know fuck all about what's right.
Everyone who has ever loved you was wrong.
You can do better.
I know. I have to.
How do you want to do this?
Alright, so previously, after defeating the orc assassins, the group interrogated the rather forthcoming remaining orc, who then led the group through the stronghold Ustax outside to the gates where Totha Wormai was. The group then began the high-stakes task of negotiating with the leader of the orcs, giving her the axe. Totha was just willing to let you live, but required Kalvyn to kneel. Kalvyn didn't want to, but Vesper calmed the emotions of those around her as Kalvyn knelt. For this, Totha gave them a head start before sending orcs to chase after them. Back through Ustax and into the cavern, the orcs could be heard running after you all. As you splashed through the still waters, Ellory stopped in their tracks, frozen by some force. Vesper found a black mirror, and the group moved on as Wink and Amsen fired back at the quickly advancing orcs. Out past the cave, the group began to retrace their steps, moving through Ogre's Breath Pass, Melly and Ellory setting a grease fire trap to slow them down. It was then that Ellory and Kalvyn heard the distant sound of a very loud horn, and Wink heard the incoming wings of the Manticore not long after. Deviating from your old path, the group found another crag and attempted to hide as two orcs tracked after them. The group quickly ambushed them and put them down as wings could be heard searching. You all have just finished the orcs off, with some of you attempting to hide as you hear the proximal sounds of the wings. And cresting over the crevice in your direction is what can only be described as a monstrosity. The Manticore has a vaguely humanoid head, mouth agape with at least 3 rows of sharp teeth spreading across in a sinister smile. The creature is the body of a massive tiger of gray-white fur, with black stripes and a strange scarred symbol on its side, furred stained red. 2 dark leathery wings reach up from its shoulders. A dark furred wild mane stretches down the creature's back, with spines bristling outward, ending with a thick and long tail with a cluster of deadly spikes at its terminus. The creature's eyes dilate as it stares at its newly found prey with stark yellow eyes. There's no doubt that this is main Makrahr Lung-strike, and I need you all to roll initiative. Come on, Ellie. You can do it.
That was bad.
Wink and Amsen, who has the highest dex score?
That'd be Wink.
Yeah. And as this approached, I would have released the blur that I was holding.
Okay. Yeah, a few of y'all had ready action. Some of y'all hid. So I'll put those on there. Let's see. So Wink, you got the blur as it comes into approach as you prepared that. Amsen, you hid, and a few other of you tried to hide as best you could. They didn't have a great spot, and I'm going to go ahead and move you guys onto the map. So, picking up Wink, as you hear the wings coming close enough, and you kind of almost just by sound alone release the blur, your form shifting as you do so, you're actually up first as you hear around the corner the very close beating wings of this creature. And right now, Wink, you're about 10 feet up on a ledge.
Okay. Where is he?
You can hear it to the north.
I can't quite See. So I guess I'm just gonna ready my shot for when I can see the creature. My close range is what I would prefer. And what is that for a short bow? I have it here. 80 feet.
80. Okay, so on the ledge, your form blurring, you draw back and just prepare to fire on sight. That will then bring us up to Amsen. And Amsen, you are kind of curled and tucked around into this corner as best you can with this little tiny nook. You can hear the wings to your left. And if you peek out, you can see the creature in the distance, about 50 feet off the ground, wings spread.
Oh, 50 feet is not... in that case, I'll cast invisibility on myself.
Okay. I will keep that same token that you have on there.
Yeah.
So as you go from hidden, you just...
And then I'm going to move out a little bit from this little nook that I'm in. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Kind of out from this nook and around this large boulder type looking thing that's to my left, so that I can see Vesper, Ball, Kalvyn with some dead bodies and everybody else as well.
Okay, so moving out, you see them, the dead orcs on the ground, and the Manticore flying in the air. At this point, Kalvyn, Vesper, Ball, and probably Amsen as well can see and hear the sprinting of orcs that are now sprinting into the cavern. One gets there, and that will bring us up to Ellory. So, Ellory, you last were attempting to hide. There's not much on that side besides the boulder where Melly is near. You just kind of put your back up against the wall as close as you can. You can now hear the wings are very close. What would you like to do?
I don't see any sign of it yet.
You hear it to the north, but you don't see it.
The north.
The walls on each side of this crevice are about anywhere from 50 to 80 feet. There's a few spires where it narrows, where Kalvyn and Ball is, that go up a little higher, up to 80 feet or so. But most of it is 50-ish, 50, 60.
Okay, I am going to hold Scorching Ray. And I think I'm going to just back up a little bit, back down from where Melly is, about 15 feet.
Okay, so backing up, holding the flames in your hand, readying for anything to approach. And that will bring us up to, as you'll hear more, running in. And another one comes into sight for Vesper, Kalvyn, Ball, and maybe Amsen. And that will bring us up to another one is going to sprint in. And that will bring us up to Melly. And Melly is going to follow your lead, going to keep the boulder as some partial cover, and she's going to prepare a frostbite. And that will bring us up to this one as another one sprints in. And that will bring us up to you, Vesper, as you're standing next to the bodies and looking up at the Manticore. And as you kind of glance down, you see 4 orcs who have just entered into this crevice and are sprinting towards you, as well as the Manticore 50 feet above. What would you like to do?
Okay. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon with a bonus action. I'm going to put it right here in the midst of all of them.
I'll do it.
And I'm going to take an attack at the Manticore first with that. Which is shitty. It's a 9. It's not going to do it.
Are you... Okay. Were you casting it in the air?
Yes.
Okay. It's 50 feet in the air, so you're casting it up there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you cast it up there, and as it swings around, the Manticore is shifting quickly. It's just unable to maintain speed enough to get there.
Okay. And then I'm going to... I'm going to Toll the Dead on the Manticore next, so it needs to make a Wisdom save.
Okay. That is a natural 14. It is a 15 total.
Damn it. Okay. I'm going to waste my turn entirely, and that's it.
Okay, so I'm going to give you control of that weapon. What does the weapon look like as you cast this?
I think it's that longbow again.
That longbow, okay.
Yeah.
So the longbow strikes out missing the first time as you toll, and that's going to bring us up to this guy. Get right there, and then to this guy. He's going to get right there. And that will bring us up to you, Ball. As you see Vesper conjure up a weapon flying up in the air next to the Manticore. What would you like to do?
I'm just gonna run up into combat with this guy here.
And just to reiterate, the Manticore is about 50 feet in the air right now.
Oh, okay.
But the orcs are all on the ground.
Well, then I'll just get to there. I might be able to get on top of them, and then just gotta check if this spell is a bonus action or not. Sorry, I'm kind of laptop impaired.
It's okay. Kalvyn, you're on deck.
Yes, it is a bonus action, so I'll just get to there, and then I'll use my bonus action to cast Shield of Faith on myself for +2 AC, and then I'll stay here.
Okay, so sprinting forth, the shimmering armor of faith coming over you, and that will bring us up to Kalvyn.
I'll move up to next to Ball. With my bonus action, I will not do anything. I don't have anything special I can do that I haven't already done. And I'm just going to hold my action for the first thing that gets close enough to hit.
Okay, so preparing your action for whatever gets close enough to get to you. That's going to bring us up to the Manticore. So flying 50 feet ahead, it kind of slows down using its wings too. And as it slows down, the tail whips around and it is going to fire down at Vol and Kalvyn, the big targets that are coming up. And the first dice goes to the floor. Okay. The first one is a 18 to hit you, Ball?
No, I've got it 19.
Okay. So the first one would have pierced through your armor, but it as a radiant light sparks, blocking it away. The second one is lower against you, Ball, and the third one's going to go to Kalvyn. That is a 15 to hit you, Kalvyn.
Yeah.
Okay, so shing, shing. The first one glances off Ball and radiant energy. The second one hits in the snow between both of you. The third one comes down this large spike that you found that was impaled the elk days ago, and it strikes into you for 10 piercing damage. It is immediately going to use its Taste of the Prey ability as it deals damage to you to strike you once more. That's a natural one, so it's not going to miss, but another strike comes at you as this one strikes into your shoulder. Another one comes over. Luckily, you kind of bent over, ducking one of the next one as it flies over your head. It is then going to continue to fly as another orc comes in, and that's going to bring us up to Wink as I move these guys.
Alright, well, I can't do shit from here,
So he's going to be there.
Ooh, I can see him.
Okay. So he's gliding in. As your reaction, you can
release my arrow. 24.
That will hit.
So I'm going to do that 10 piercing, and I'm going to go ahead and make that a grasping arrow. So that's another 10 poison, and anytime it moves, it takes 2d6 slashing damage until it uses an action to try and remove the thorns. So I'm just going to snap as the arrow hits, and it wraps it in thorns. Oh, that also reduces its speed by 10 feet. And I have that all in thingy.
All right, yeah. So as the arrow strikes, like you said, it wraps into thorny vines, wrapping around, pulling in its wings, preventing it from moving as well. It's still flapping just enough to maintain some altitude for now. So that was actually, we'll say, your reaction at the end of its movement. It's now your turn.
All right. So I have to check one thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to get close enough to do that. No. So I'm just going to fire another arrow at it. 14.
14 will miss, unfortunately.
It's okay. I'm satisfied. I am going to hop down from my little perch thing.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, no. He may be coming after me. I'm going to stay. I did.
Okay. You stay on the perch as the second arrow whizzes by, and that will bring us up to Amsen.
I was holding an action for when I saw something.
Yeah, can you see him?
Yes.
Go for it. You can release your firebolt.
All right.
What's your range on that one?
240 feet.
240. Okay. Yeah, you are fine. And
okay.
So.
That's a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
Oh wait, I need to do 3. So that's 3 separate rolls. Whoa. Okay, so that's a dirty 20, a natural 20, and a 23.
All 3 hit, and you get the critical.
Okay, that means this is a lot of D6s I'm gonna be adding up here.
This is Firebolt?
This is Scorching Ray.
Ah, Scorching Ray. firebolt.
Okay. 10, 20.
And 4 natural 20s, just to keep it consistent, just roll the dice twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Just across the board for everyone. That way we don't roll a 1 and say, oh, I'm going to roll it twice, or roll a 10 and say, I'll take double. If that makes sense.
Where was I? Wait.
So 10.
So 10, 20, 25, 31
God
points
damn.
of fire damage.
That's just these 3 scorching rays slam into it. You can notice the fur is sundered and singed, and also the thorns that are preventing it from moving very quickly are also catching a flame as well.
And
yeah.
That's also a wild magic surge.
Go ahead and roll. Oh, it happened?
Yeah.
Okay, you rolled under 3, I suppose?
I rolled a 1.
Okay. Roll that D100.
That's a 12.
Okay, let's find out what that is. Almost there. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Roll a D10.
Uh-oh. 3.
Okay. So as you're sending these firebolts into the air, you shrink about 3 inches. But the 3 bolts slam into it mid-air. You also notice that Melly slams it with ice as well. So it is being slowed down by both vines and ice that is kind of formed over its shoulders, preventing its large shoulder muscles from moving its wings as well. It's actually fairly slow at the moment. And that will bring it up to Amsen. As you see this thing flying around the corner, immediately being assaulted by both spell and arrow.
Oh boy. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Let's move 30 feet closer. Let's make this thing's day just a little bit worse, and I'm going to cast Fairy Fire on the Manticore. So that is
a natural 20 on the deck save.
Damn it. Okay.
Is it, George, is it restrained or grappled or anything with that, or is it just slowed?
No, it's just slowed and takes damage anytime it moves.
That's unfortunate.
Okay. So yeah, it sort of barrel rolls almost in places. The fairy fire just going to spin around it. A lot of the flames actually burn it off in the air as well.
All right. So then for my bonus action, I'm going to, let's see here.
And you should actually pop uninvisible actually at this point, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
I do pop uninvisible because I cast a spell.
Okay.
There we go. So it's gone. Yes. Let's see here.
And Ellory, you'll be up after this, or in a minute. The next player.
I'm going to inspire Kalvyn. Why not? This will be fun. So I'm going to inspire Kalvyn, and I'm going to sing, when she's in trouble, did you know Kalvyn is Superman? When she's alive and well, Kalvyn is there because he can. He'll stay there by her side with his superhuman might. Kalvyn might.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So Amsen, as he comes invisible, casts the fairy fire, dodging it, stirring Kalvyn to action. Amsen, you can move. If there's anything else, that will bring us up to the next individual. So one of the orcs sprints forward, a female orc with war paint across her face in red, sprints forward to you, Kalvyn, and is going to strike out at you. First one is a natural 1 as she begins to slip into the snow. And the second one from her is going to be an 18.
That'll hit. Can I get my attack on too?
Yeah, because you're waiting for it within range. Yep. So yeah, she sprints forth, and as she strikes for you, you simply jump over the blade, striking for
what?
I'm asking what your roll to hit was.
23.
You hit.
Okie dokie. 5 plus 10 slashing. One of that was fire.
Okay. As she tries to strike you easily, parried away and turn it into a counter, striking into her. And that was your readied, and she's going to go for a second attack, which is not great. A 12 to hit. She comes around with her other weapon and you easily kind of use the guard on your forearm to kind of block it and parry it away. That will bring us up to Ellory. As Ellory, you are down there in the corner of cast a spell, and the Manticore is still about 50 feet in the air above Vesper and the dead orcs there. What do you do?
Okay, so I am going to... First, I'm going to run forward a bit.
Okay, pushing forth through the snow in this crevice up towards where the Manticore is, near Amsen.
And then I'm going to go ahead and cast Chaos Bolt this time.
Go for it.
That's a 23. So that is 17 points of thunder damage.
From the blaster again, this loud thundering crack actually shakes snow, and a few rocks and pebbles fall from both the left and right side of the crevice that kind of fall down. A large one actually comes near you, Vesper, as you're just going to the right towards the wall. Anything else for you, Ellory?
Nope, and no surge this time.
Okay. I'll bring us up to this one. It's going to sprint up and is going to go for ball. That is a 13 to hit you, Ball, as he comes around with a great axe. You use your weapon to parry it away as it slams into you, but is not able to push through. And then another one is going to sprint up. And he's going to get right there. And it's a 17 against you, Ball, as this one comes around with the axe. And you kind of lift your leg and knee him in the chest to kind of back him up. His axe thrown off. It still hits you in the side, but not near enough to get through the armor. That's going to bring up Melly, who's going to do the ice thing again. This time it will miss as the ice flies over. At this point, the shards of ice from before have kind of melted off at this point. And that will bring us up to this guy. He's going to push forward and is going to difficult terrain. Let's see. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's going to get right there. Bonus action to step up to you, Kalvyn. One to your side. That'll be 11 to hit as he swings around with the axe. As you quickly kind of duck under this attack from behind and go whoosh, right over the top of your head from behind. And that will bring us up to you, Vesper. As above you, tangled in vines still, flames still wrapping around in smoke, is the Manticore. And in front of you see Ball and Kalvyn being swarmed by orcs that are coming south.
Okay, 1 second. I'm on my phone. Let me switch back to my computer. I have to restart.
Okay. And after Vesper, Ball will be the next person on deck, the next player.
Okay. So the spiritual weapon, I'm going to move it 20 feet lower towards the orcs.
Okay. So put it there.
Then I'm going to try and toll the dead on the Manticore again.
Okay, and is that a con save?
That is a wisdom save.
Wisdom save, okay. Natural 19, that's a 20.
Fuck.
Again, this bell tolls near it. It doesn't seem to hear it from the thunder ringing in its head.
Cool beans. I'm going to hang out there.
Okay, so staying there. Next will be this individual who's going to just 30. And Ball, you'll get an attack of opportunity on this orc if you choose so. It's just sprinting towards Vesper.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, there's plenty wrapped around y'all. It's just going to sprint forward to the next target. But you strike out.
For a natural 1?
Okay, you swing backhand almost. But trying to deal with all of these targets at once, you almost back-to-back with Kalvyn. The swing was almost an afterthought, and the creature is already beyond and up to Vesper. But only rolls an 8 on their attack as he comes down, leaping into the air. But as he's in the air, you have time to kind of shift to the side. You can't change mid-flight, and comes down, the axe slamming into the snow. And that will bring us up to this individual. He's going to do the same thing and is going to sprint up to Amsen, but can't do anything else. And that will bring us up to you, Ball. So there's a few orcs all around you, a few sprinting past you as well. What would you like to do?
All right, I will just take a swing at the orc with the green orc.
Okay, so the orc to your right next to you and Kalvyn. Go for it.
And a 20.
That will hit.
And that's 12 slashing damage.
As you slash his orc across the chest, barely wearing any armor besides a shoulder pauldron and a few basic coverings on their arm. You slice down his chest as the blood begins to pour out. You see he's maintaining his footing, growling through the pain, but looks severely wounded. That will, unless you wanted to move.
I'll just look to Kalvyn and I'll say, take cover, and just kind of motion for him to, if he can, basically trying to motion for you to kind of, like I'm trying to show you to go more behind me instead of in front of me.
I'm already surrounded.
Yeah, I know. As Paul says that, it's your turn, Kalvyn, so you can respond however you want to.
Comparatively, is the green one worse off than the red one?
Yes, much. Yeah, the green one looks like he's going to bleed out. He's going to die here.
Okay. I'm going to... Here's an interesting question. If I intend to use my bonus action as an attack, can I use that one? Screw it. First is what I meant to say. And depending on how that one turns out, use my standard action?
Yes, but only if the standard action is an attack.
Yeah, no. I'm going to attack with both, but I want to, instead of attacking with my standard and then using my bonus to attack with my offhand weapon, attack with my offhand weapon and then attack with my standard action.
That's fine. Yeah. As long as they're tied together, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I want to use my offhand weapon to attack green.
You're lower damage on the weaker one. I got you.
Yeah.
So you strike forth.
I don't. It doesn't do anything.
Are you sure?
I rolled a. Let me see. Hold on a sec. Yeah, what's the inspiration dice?
It's a D6.
Let me see.
This guy's not well armored and isn't super dexterous dodging around. He can carry things away to some extent.
No, I rolled an 11 total.
Okay, so even with that, you kind of strike forth, but you're already too focused on your primary attack. And he kind of shifts to the side using the shaft of his axe to knock it away. Going for your second strike.
Yeah, and seeing as that one didn't follow up, I'm going to growl and go straight for that one again.
Go for it.
With my main.
Okay, you're already arcing blade up.
15.
15 will hit. And is this with your blade or are you using the spear in one of these hands?
The spear. The spear is offhand. Is main hand.
Go for it.
I'm throwing dice everywhere. 1 fire damage and 9 slashing damage.
Okay. So as you pierce through its stomach and pull it back, you see the orc kind of fading back, about to fall, and blink and kind of remain steady, though wobbling. He's on his last leg, but his orcish fury pulls him back and locks eyes with you.
I'm going to shift over here, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. So as you're striking into that one, that will bring us up to the Manticore, who's actually going to move and take the damage from Wink.
Just the one I double clicked, but 7 slashing.
Thank you. I still have weapon stuff. Okay, there we go. So 7 slashing. That movement is back. And I'm going to put him right there just so we can see him a little bit better. So still 15 feet in the air, is going to fly forward, getting closer to you, Ellory, and his eyes are dilated and looking upon you, and is going to strike for you.
I'm going to cutting words that first one.
Okay. That first one, so minus the D6?
Yeah. That'd be -4.
Okay, so that brings it to a 9.
Nope.
Okay, so the first strike begins to strike out you, whipping the tail around for this spike to come towards you. And as he does so, Amsen...
I yell out, "Hey, fat ass, you've got something on your third chin!"
His eyes immediately dart down for just a moment as the tail's just off. The spike goes over your head. The second one is a 10 for you, Ellory?
Nope.
Again, the second one, as his eyes lock upon you. And the last one is a 19.
Yeah, that one hits.
Okay. The last one, so the first two, and you just dodge over the second one and see the other one, but it's too late, and it strikes into you, dealing 10 piercing damage. And it's immediately going to use his second use of Taste of the Prey, seeing the blood drawn up from the spike impaling your shoulder, and is going to strike again. That is a 23 to hit.
Yeah.
And that is 9 piercing damage.
Okay.
As it a second strike into you. It just has its eyes focused on you, the one who's been really slamming it with spells. And has used several of those spikes. And that will bring us up to this guy. And Wink, you're going to be on deck in just a minute after I move this orc. And this one's just going to sprint up to here, we'll say. And that will bring us up to you, Wink.
Right. So I want to jump down.
Okay. It's only 10 feet, so you can kind of just jump down, do a little roll, and land on your feet using just 10 feet of your movement.
All right. So to get, there's 10. Yeah, that's exactly what I have left. 15.
And just a reminder, he is 50 feet in the air still.
Oh, shit. Well, I'm just going to shoot him.
Okay.
But I'll kind of shout at him, "Hey, Dick!" and shoot another arrow.
Okay. Aiming up into the sky.
18?
That will hit, yes.
5 piercing damage.
Coming up, hitting his underbelly.
And you know what? Make a charisma save.
Okay.
Pop my other one.
Great. That is a 4, which will be a 3.
He is banished until the end of his next turn, so all the way at the end.
Okay, so the second one strikes into him, and as the blood begins to rain down upon you, Amsen, this crimson scarlet rain, he poofs out of existence.
I'll just kind of look to Ellory. You all right?
Kind of.
Okay, well, hurry.
And as Wink is finishing that up, that will bring us up to you, Amsen. A little bit of blood on your shoulders. The Manticore no longer above you. What would you like to do? There's still an orc right in your face.
I would like to look back at Ellory, see her impaled by 2 Manticore spine things, and I'm going to cast Healing Word on her at first level. That's for a whopping 6 points of healing. And then for my action, I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery on the orc in front of me.
Okay. Is that a charisma save?
That's a wisdom save.
Wisdom. 17.
Okay, yeah, that saves.
Okay, so you begin to say something, he's just like as you say something, and he's just yelling over you. He doesn't even hear it. That's the only reason you say it.
Wave my hand in front of my face as his breath is terrible, and then I'll move.
It's awful. There's spit on your face. It's gross.
I move to the side a little bit so that I'm in between Ellory and this orc properly.
Okay, so shifting over after healing Ellory, moving around the orc. It brings us up to this one, standing in front of you, Kalvyn. And you see hanging off of her left side around her waist, numerous scalps that are dried at this point as she brings her blade or her axe up towards you once more. That one is pretty good. That's a 19 to hit you, Kalvyn?
You know it.
Okay. So that is not great. 6 damage. She brings up the second strike, and the second one is a 10. The second one gets in just under your armor. You partially block it, but it gets just under in the waist, stomach area. The second one comes forth, and you use the spear to just kind of use the butt of it to hit her with the butt of it and back her up just an inch or so, throwing her off. And she's going to shift a bit. Yeah, she's going to just shift over here. And that will bring us up to you, Ellory.
She BRB'd.
Okay, so when she comes out, she'll come back. That'll bring us up to this. Whoops, not you, Wink. Sorry. That'll bring us up to this one, who's going to move forward. Actually, Kalvyn, you were the one that hit him, and his bloodlust is focusing in on you. He's going to go for you as well. That is a 12 to hit you. Just bloodlust. The blood vessels in his eyes are popped. His eyes are red. He just brings the axe down towards you. And you are kind of taking it from all sides, ducking, dodging. You're taking a few licks, but you're parrying and blocking a lot of them. This one you see, and you kind of duck to the side as it slashes into the snow at your feet. And that will bring us up to this one. He's going to curve around you, Ball. And as he does, he's going to come for your ankles behind you. That's a 13 to hit you as he hits into your metal boots, unable to penetrate through. And Ellory, are you back? Okay. Yes, not. That will bring us up to Melly. Who at this point, she's going to shift just enough to try to hit the orc that's next to Vesper. Try to get a good angle with her frostbolt. That is going to actually hit. So she's going to deal few damage as Vesper, over your shoulder, an icicle slams into the chest of this orc that's staring at you as he kind of looks over to see where it came from. The ice kind of trickling down, slowing him just a bit. Is that his melee? Ellory, are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, go ahead and take your turn.
Okay, so this time I am going to, let's see, I'm going to use Scorching Ray again. 1 ray against each of the orcs that I can see. So I guess that's the one attacking Amsen, the one attacking Vesper, and the one attacking Ball.
Okay. They're all going to have some cover.
Right, I ignore up to 3/4 cover.
Okay, so you'll be able to hit that one, no problem. The blue and purple you can hit from where you are, ignoring cover. The pink basically has full cover where you are. But if you shift like 1 square to the right, you should be able to catch enough of them to ignore the rest of the cover.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, and now you're fine.
Okay, so that's going to be 3 different rolls. 1 is 21.
That'll hit.
The second is 9.
That will miss.
And the third is 14.
That will hit. So the first and last.
So I hit the one. I was just going up from closest to furthest, so
Amsen
the one.
balls.
Yeah, so the one by Amsen, that is 8 points of fire damage, and the one near Ball is also 8.
Okay. Nice. So these 3 quick scorching rays just slamming into 2 of them as the flames kind of ripple around their shoulder. Would you like to move?
No, I think I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay, so staying where you are, that will bring us up to the orc in front of you, Ball. Just at the corner is going to strike at you with the axe, and is going to miss. This one coming up, trying to slam into your chest, and it does so, but doesn't penetrate through. You see, it has a rusty old axe that drives into this golden divine energy, not able to press through. And that will bring us up to you, Vesper, with an orc with flames still rolling off of its shoulders, staring at you.
How does Ellory look if I look over my shoulder at her?
Ellory, how do you look?
I'm just a little over half, so I'm not great.
Okay.
But not about to collapse
either. Then I'm going to... my spiritual weapon should be able to get brown. This brown orc.
You see 50, 20, so
would have
30,
been like 45.
20 more, be 10. So it's close enough, yeah.
Okay.
These orcs are pretty tall, so you're right on top of his head, we'll say.
Okay. I'm actually going to use a different die because I don't trust this one. Not with a natural 1.
Okay, it aims down the bow and it kind of sparks in light. But this one kind of quickly kind of sees the light, and before it sees, it reacts to the spark of light, jumping to the side.
And then I'm going to toll the dead on the pink one in front of me.
Is that a con save?
No, wisdom.
Wisdom, that is a 9. 9.
That is not going to do it.
9 is a...
Has it taken damage yet?
Yep. Flames are still rolling off of its burnt shoulder from Ellory.
That's right. Well, fuck. All right, that's 3 necrotic.
Okay. And leaving the burns actually bubble up with this blackish green goo that kind of drips out, this rot in its wound. And do you want to stay there, Vesper?
Yeah.
Just for the sake of honesty, I think that's the one I didn't hit.
No, but Melly did.
Oh, it was Melly that hit.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I saw that it did take damage, but it was from Melly. Thank you for correcting. So it was ice, not fire, rolling off its shoulders. And if you are staying there, that is going to bring us to the pink one in front of you as it quickly glances over towards Ellory and Mellory, who are firing things at it, but looks back towards you as the bell goes off. Striking its axe, that is a 22 to hit.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And that is going to be 11 damage as it into your hip, kind of pulling it back. The blood kind of dripping into the snow, this red on white. And he is then going to step over his brethrens and get right in your face. And that will bring us up to this one in front of Amsen, who's going to look towards Ellory, but is going to go for, it's going to go for you, Amsen. You're the closest target. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
Yeah, I'll let that.
That is a 13 damage. As it kind of glances over Ellory, looks back at you, brings the axe, strikes in, slashing blood, dripping down your clothes. And that will bring us up to Ball. Surrounded orcs kind of all on all sides at this point, with you, Kalvyn, and the spiritual bow. What would you do?
Okay, so you said the green one is like pretty much about to die. Like he's the one that came back, the whole like orc comeback.
Yeah, he's the one that's just going on fumes on orcish fury. That's the only thing that's making him go.
Okay. I think I'll use my rune weapon to breathe fire. In a way, can I angle it in a way, like do I have to move to be able to hit just these two?
No, you could aim it to where you can get both of those.
Okay. Is it DC 13? Sorry, to check what they have to.
Should be a 6. 11 on the first, and a 10 on the second, so they both fail.
All right. So I'll just do it.
Roaring out a wave of flames as beneath your armor, the rune glows in that bright orangish yellow color, fire erupting out from you. And that is going to bring this one down. They were staring at Kalvyn with orcish fury, and then the other one, who is yet to be damaged, finally takes a bit of fire damage there, bringing him into the fray. Do you want to stay where you are, Ball?
Yeah, I'll stay where I am.
Okay. So staying there, that'll bring us up to you, Kalvyn, as flames erupt to your left. There's still 3 orcs kind of in your vicinity. What do you do?
I'm going to attack the red twice.
Okay, so turning, going for her specifically.
That's a 21.
That'll hit.
To hit. Okay. And then 11 to hit.
The second one will not. So the first one strikes in. The second one, she's prepared and kind of shifts it away, hooking it with her axe and pulling the weapon going.
Can I ask? I meant to ask this earlier, and I'm sorry. On the shard, do I have to announce the judgment prior to the attack, or is it like a smite where I could be like, oh, I hit, okay, then I activate the judgment?
Let me see how I phrased it, because I can't remember. Because I think you may have to say the word, but I can't remember where. Let me just read it, and I'll tell you. Before the attack roll, so you have to say it before.
Shoot. Cool. Noted. That sucks. All right. It's 4 fire damage and 6 plus 5, 11 slashing. Or 11 piercing, I think is. Yes, piercing.
Okay. So with this strike, you strike in, the flames erupting into them, and you strike into their stomach, and they kind of fall back as you withdraw, the blood sizzling and boiling from the flames surrounding it. And you see her eyes almost fade, and the pupils constrict and then dilate once more. She enters into her blood fury, blood pouring out of her mouth as she grips her axe tighter. And you want to stay there, Kalvyn?
Yeah, I can't move.
Okay. And Wink, you will be on deck as at the end of his turn, above, flying ahead, the thorny vine still wrapping around, flying 50 feet in the air, the Manticore still appears, conjuring itself, still mid-flight. This one at this point is going to go for you, Ball. And that is a 15 to hit as this orange one kind of strikes forth towards you. You easily using the bottom of your weapon just to knock him in the head, sending him off, and that's going to bring us up to you, Wink. As in the air, still wrapped in thorns, the Manticore reappears.
Welcome back. 26 to hit?
Oh, yes, that definitely hits.
5 piercing damage.
All right.
And I'm gonna...
0 strikes into its lower abdomen that you can see at this point from down below.
There, for now.
Okay, shifting up towards the orcs at the front. And near the tree there, that's going to bring us up to Amsen. With the orc still in front of you, the Manticore
all right,
into existence above you.
Okay, so I'm going to cast invisibility on myself again.
Okay, so your form shaking before going invisible.
And I'm going to leave and go over here.
Okay. No. As you pop out of existence, before you even leave, the orc just kind of tries to swing wildly. But by the time it reacts, you're gone and just kind of swings into empty air where you were once standing.
All right. And then while I'm invisible, I'm going to pop a potion of healing And I get back not very much. And that's basically all I got.
Okay, and do potions break invisibility?
No, it says if I cast a spell or attack.
Attack spell. Okay, so just those two. Okay, so remaining invisible. That is going to bring us up to the next one here. It's going to be her, so still in that blood rage, staring at you, Kalvyn. This is the second vision you've seen of this fight.
I was gonna do blood curse.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm gonna amplify it.
Okay. So that's that disadvantage, correct?
Yes. For the next two attacks.
Okay, so this attack, instead of a natural 19 slamming into you, you see her reach back, and as she starts to come forward, there's a twinge and a muscle that kind of tightens around her shoulders, and there's a searing pain as you see her wince, as if her veins are lit on fire within her in this attack. She struggles through it, but at this point, the attack is slowed down so much it's easy to dodge. The second one is a 16. Okay.
That hits.
So even pushing through this pain, she kind of quickly just forces getting up to you, almost grabbing you at the front of your armor, slamming the axe towards you, dealing 5 damage. She kind of gets up to you, kind of almost presses the axe into you, and slides to the side. You can see her arm still in pain, some of the blood vessels bursting on her skin. And that will bring us up to Ellory. You're down there as you see a orc swinging wildly at nothing as Amsen seems to have disappeared, and above you 50 feet you see the Manticore staring down with rage, his eyes darting between you and Wink.
How does the Manticore look at this point?
Not great. Wrapped in thorns, fire, arrows. It's not looking great.
And how about that orc that Amsen just got away from?
Also not looking great.
All right, I'm going to go for a Chaos Bolt against the Manticore.
Okay, go for it.
And just to make things really fun, I'm going to use Tides of Chaos to get advantage.
Okay.
15?
That will just miss. As the bolt shifting in energy as it flies through the air, various colors, flies up towards it, and he kind of almost stops flapping pushing against the thorns for just long enough for it to duck just a bit as the bolt over its head, slamming into the wall behind it. Roll a d8 for me.
A d8?
Mm-hmm.
5.
A 5. So as the bolt slams into the wall behind it, the other side of the crevice, lightning erupts and forms almost this strange root-like structure as sundered black against the stone behind it. Anything else for you, Ellory?
I am going to go ahead and back up about 20 feet.
Okay. And that will bring us up to this one, who's officially dead now. And then to this one, who's going to, at this point, trying and going against Paul and it not working, is going to ignore Paul and is going to sprint down. It's going to come up to Vesper, actually. And Vesper, that is going to be a...
Do I get attack of opportunity?
You would, Paul, as it's
can I grab?
away. Yeah, you can attempt to. Roll an athletics check.
I meant to say it before you did the roll, but especially knowing what you rolled seems even more pertinent. You said athletics?
Yeah, it'd be an athletics to grab them.
19.
19. 18. So as it runs towards Vesper, you reach out with your hand, letting go of the two-handed sword to grab the back of their armor and pull them back, keeping them from sprinting that far. So he's going to stay right with you. And with that, instead of going for Vesper, your hand kind of on the back of their shoulder is just going to take the axe and swing it downward and backwards going to go for you. And that is a 21 against you, Ball.
That will hit.
Okay.
Start regretting this.
And that is going to be 8 slashing damage as it comes back, hitting you in your leg, kind of coming up the thigh, the blood dripping down. Make a con save for your Shield of Fate. I meant to remind you of these, but I don't always do it.
Yeah, this is my first time getting hit, so...
okay.
Con... Can't see it. It's a natural one.
And as he does, there's a blinding spark of divine golden silver light as your Shield of Faith disperses. And that will bring us up to Melly. And Melly's actually going to go for this orc, this kind of turning, eyeing for the next target, the closest one being Wink. And she's going to go for him. That is Just barely, actually. This ice stabs into him. He's not looking great at this point. As an ice shard stabs into his lower abdomen, the ice kind of forming over his legs, but he's still eyeing on Wink at this point. His eyes dilating, and that will bring us up to this one here, surrounding you, Kalvyn. As you're focused on the scalper, who you've seen before when you met Wink for the first time, this one is going to go for you, trying to blindside you, and that's going to be a 10. As it swings its axe, you hear him, "Ugh!" And as you hear him grunting, you quickly just duck over your head. And that brings us up to you, Vesper. As you saw, you're about to have 2 on you. Ball prevented one from getting to you, but there is one next to you. What do you do?
I'm going to Sacred Flame the Manticore, since it's bound up in these vines, because that's a dexterity save.
Okay.
It's not restrained, though, so that they're not actually doing it.
Oh, well.
Okay. So as the Sacred Flame of this divine holy light from the heavens, the creature quickly kind of senses the light as it sears part of its shoulder and just barrel rolls to the side, slamming into the lightning sundered rock to its side. A few the rocks falling to the ground, cracking as it dodged that.
And then I'm going to try and spiritual weapon the orange orc, I guess.
Poor cleric.
That is a 12.
Okay, so the spiritual weapon draws back this divine arrow that kind of strikes forward towards him, but the light is just too bright. The creature easily kind of ducks to the side, slamming its fist into the weapon as it just barely misses.
I cast Zone of Truth. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm fucking high churching it today.
Vesper struggling to cleric. Are you going to stay where you are?
Yeah.
Okay, and as you stay where you are, this orc in front of you is going to strike out for a 11. As it strikes out, you kind of see it quickly and kind of duck back as you're watching your spiritual weapon light up, firing at the other orc. And this blue one down here, even with ice on him, is going to move towards you, Wink. He's going to get on you. As it strikes at you, the blur is still active. So at disadvantage, that is a 12.
That will miss.
So it strikes towards you, but you're so low to the ground, it goes low. But you actually are a foot back instead of low to the ground, so it just strikes into its blurred vision, is having a hard time getting a beat on where you actually are. And that will bring us up the ball.
How close to the Manticore would I have to get to be 30 feet away from him? Or it? Still up in the air?
You'd have to be 20 feet in the air under it. It's 50 feet in the air.
Right, okay. Alright, in that case, okay, I guess I'll just, I'll just attack this orange one in front of me.
Okay, go for it.
That's a 15.
That will hit. And, Roger, do you let go? Does Ball let go of the grapple on the other orc?
Yeah, because I think all it does is just, I'll let go of him,
Yeah, you either maintain the grapple and roll with disadvantage, or you can let go of him and put 2 hands on the 2-handed weapon. And,
I'll let go. If he tries to run away, then I can always try to do it again.
Okay, so at this point you let go, slam into him with the greatsword, dealing
8 slashing damage.
This one hadn't been hit much, but at this point it goes from looking like it's in the fight, looking at you, to suddenly a severe slice across the top, chest and throat area of it. As you go for a horizontal strike across it, blood splattering over the walls to your right, and Kalvyn and the other orcs. Do you remain where you are?
I'll end my turn there.
Okay, that brings us up to Kalvyn.
I want to do what I did before with the offhand weapon and the main hand weapon.
Okay, so offhand first. Yeah, that's fine.
On the lid. That's not going to hit. That dice loves 2s. So, so main hand weapon.
So the sword.
That is not the right dice, but 18 plus 7.
That hits, yeah. So the first strike with the sword, she does, without even breaking eye contact with you, takes her axe and just knocks it away. And as she's bringing her axe up to come down on your skull, you strike forth, dealing with the spear.
It's 4 fire damage and 8 slashing, or 8 piercing.
You impale her in flames, and as you do, you lift her off into the air, and as you extend your arm fully, you knock her back as she comes off the spear, slamming into the wall behind her, and slipping down into the ground, dead. And she is there. Okay.
And I'm going to shuffle around so that I am over here.
Okay, so shifting around, the orc's moving towards the south. You can now see around the corner of the Manticore flying in its air, staring down around the corner where you can't quite see. And that's going to bring us up to him.
Roger, you're not muted.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, goodness gracious me. So, staring down at Ellory and Wink. For Ellory, you see its eyes shift again, but instead of dilating before, it constricts and the yellow glow of its eyes almost brighten and light and glow as it uses its feral instincts, channeling divine power or some sort of unholy power from who knows where as it grants advantage on its attack. That will be a 19.
Yep.
Okay. Striking into you. That is actually a D10. I meant to roll this a D8. 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
It's going to immediately use its last taste of the prey ability on you. That is a 20 to hit.
Yep.
Okay. Dealing 8 piercing damage.
Okay. I'm still up, but barely.
It's going to strike again using its feral instincts one more time. 16?
Just barely.
Just barely, as it strikes in 8 piercing damage.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, so quickly, 3 tail spikes drive into Ellory. And as you're kind of knocked back off your feet, falling midair, before you even hit the snow, it whips around, turning, and with Wink kind of partially blocked by that orc, is actually going to turn and send its spike towards Vesper, which isn't great. 12.
No.
As it nice 4 more spikes, and at this point it's going to begin flying north. And go ahead and roll the damage for the spikes. It's just pushing through the damage.
Yep. Then just
damn.
10 slashing damage.
Oh, damn! Even more. I saw the 8 slashing damage, so that is even worse. All right. So pushing through the thorns, the thorns tearing into its wings. You can see holes beginning to form as it's just forcing through these thorns. It's going to get right there. Actually, he's going to get about right there. And kind of hanging against the wall, kind of finding his claws digging in, trying to find purchase to kind of momentarily hold its flight, is going to, and it begins to drip down just a little bit, not able to find full purchase, down to it's still about 35 feet in the air, but it's lowered substantially. And that will bring us up to this orange one in front of you, Ball, who's actually going to drop its axe on the ground and just go in for a low tackle and is going to try to put you on the ground. Make an athletics check.
So is that on Ball?
Yeah, against Ball. He's going to try to tackle you to the ground.
I'm so big. Why would he do that?
Hitting you hasn't worked. He's going to put you on the ground.
What is it? Strength, acrobatics, or athletics, right? Yeah.
Athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
The 16?
No. So as he comes down, you're almost unexpected. And as you kind of put your hands on its shoulder, it grabs it around one of your big legs and lifts as you land onto the ground, the snow flurrying, kicking up at the same time that Ellory, you are now landing onto the ground unconscious. And that will bring us back up to you, Wink. You have this orc in front of you. The Manticore's appeared once again. You see Ellory on the ground to the south, spikes impaling her. What would you like to do?
Okay, well, I don't have time for him, so I'm going to take the attack of opportunity. With disadvantage.
He didn't roll great first time. He rolled a 20 on the second, so that's a 14.
Miss. Okay. I'm going to run over so I can get a shot at the Manticore.
He's just kind of scraping down the side of this mountain, kind of looking around for his next target. You draw back.
12, so I'll burn my action surge and shoot again.
Okay, so as the arrow is splintering against the rock face to its left, you draw back again quickly. The second
20.
one will hit.
All right. 4,
right between
9
his wings.
piercing.
God damn. He is starting to look pretty damn rough. He's a hardy creature. He's been looking rough for a while, but he's starting to look panicked almost, but a little more sure of himself as a smile kind of creeps across his face with Ellory bleeding out on the ground below. That will bring us up to you, Amsen. Still invisible, just kind of having the potion flow through you as you see Ellory fall to the ground to your south and Wink charge forth in front of you. What do you do?
All right. So I'm going to use my last spell slot and cast Healing Word on Ellory. So that is 5 points of healing.
So Ellory, you breathe in once again. You're still impaled by these things, but you're conscious. You're awake on the snow.
And then I'm going to viciously mock this orc in front of me.
Okay, he's not looking rough. Is that a wisdom save?
Yep.
Natural 17 total.
Damn it. And then I will use my 30 to move myself in between the orc, in between Melly and Ellory and the orc.
Okay, so shifting around, getting there, that is going to bring us up to her, dead, and to Ellory as you just wake up in the snow, staring up at the sky around you, still impaled. What would you like to do?
Fuck. I struggle to my feet.
Okay.
I look around, and... Okay, first I'm going to shift over towards this big rock over here, and then I'm going to cast Scorching Ray at... one ray at each of, well, one at the Manticore and one each at the 2 orcs that are closer to me.
Okay. So Manticore first and then blue orc, pink orc?
Yep, Manticore first.
So the flames striking towards it.
That's not going to hit.
Okay, so the flames slam into the rock next to it, shaking a few more rocks loose that begin to fall.
Then... the one near Amsen, that's a 13.
That'll just hit as it slams into him.
And then the one by Vesper, that's a 10.
That will miss. You do slam into the orc near Amsen pretty heartily.
Okay, that will be 8 fire.
Okay, the flames engulf him and almost knock him back as he kind of steps back, dropping his axe to the ground. But he kind of comes up, lurching forward once again. And his eyes lay upon you three, Amsen, Ellory, and Melly, not sure of who his next target is as he picks his axe out of the snow once again, beginning to charge forward, not sure where he's going. And are you going to stay there, Ellory?
Yep, I'm staying put.
Okay, so that'll bring us up to this one. So the one you snatched that ball, now that you're on the ground, is going to turn and bring the axe down. Now that you're on the ground, at advantage. So that is a 15 to hit.
That won't hit me.
Okay, so even on the ground, it slams into your chest, but it's unable to pierce through the chainmail armor. It's going to strike through. You can see this armor at this point is taking a bunch of damage. The chainmail is broken in several places, but it's keeping you alive. Now it brings it to Melly, and Melly's going to go for this blue orc. And will hit, and she doesn't have to do damage because all she needs is 1. As this orc that was just picking up his axe to run towards Amsen, Melly, and Ellory is just slammed with ice in his center stomach as he's knocked back into the tree, dropping the axe into the snow. As the ice kind of impales him to the tree, this covered in ice kind of spreading over him, attaching him to the tree. That will bring us up to this guy, who, seeing ball down, is going to step up and go for you ball at advantage. And he's actually going to stay there. That is a 21 to hit you.
Just barely.
Just barely, okay. That's a 4 slashing damage as you're on the ground. But it kind of almost jumps on top of you and comes down with the axe, just hacking. Only one seems to get through. And that brings us up to you, Vesper.
Okay, let's try the spiritual weapon again.
Surrounded, struggling. You fire with a spiritual weapon.
There we go. That's a dirty 20.
That hits.
That'll do it. So that is 7 force damage to the orange orc.
Okay. And this one, just like several of the others, is almost knocked down by the radiant light that pierces into its back. And the guy struggles for a moment, falling onto its face, pushes back off the dead body of its fellow orc brethren, standing up again, eyes dilated, looking for trouble.
Seeing it go down, I'm going to toll the dead on it.
Okay. Natural 14.
Ah, fuck. Okay. Unless it has a negative modifier.
Is that wisdom?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's just a 14.
Bullshit. Okay.
Okay, so and as it rings out in front of Ball and several of the other orcs there, And are you staying there, Vesper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's going to bring us up to the orc in front of you. He's going to go and strike for you. 17 to hit?
Yep.
As it deals, that's cocked. Surprisingly, that never happens. Not great, actually. 6 slashing damage.
Okay.
As it strikes into you across your stomach, some of the blood seeping through your armor. And that brings up the blue, which is fully dead. And to Ball, you're on your back as several of the orcs are kind of ganging up on you at this point.
All right, so I'm going to stand up. You said the Manticore, my normal move speed is 25, so half of that, do I move 10 or do I move 15?
10.
Okay.
12, so you wouldn't have enough to get to that next square, but you can move 10.
So if I moved down to here, would I be within, I know that you said the Manticore, I think, is still in the air?
Yeah, he's hanging onto the side of the wall about 35 feet up in the air.
Oh, 35. Okay, never mind.
So he slipped down some, but he's still maintaining the height, staying out of a lot of your ranges on purpose.
Okay. And then that one above me, I'm going to attack orange. So I'll stand up and I'll attack orange with my great sword.
Okay, so standing up, swinging towards him.
15.
That'll hit.
And I think that should just...
Yeah, you as he's kind of standing up, just adrenaline fueling him. You can see the veins kind of poking out of its neck and arms as he's just clarifying, looking for something. You swing down, smashing him into the snow.
Perfect. And then I'll use my 10 move speed to get to this point.
Okay, so shifting down besides Kalvyn, and 2 orcs there, and that will actually bring us up to you, Kalvyn.
I'm gonna slash away at yellow.
Okay, go for it.
That's a 12.
Oh, just missed.
And a 24.
The second one will hit.
3 plus 5 is 8 slashing.
Okay. So as the hunter sword kind of scrapes across them, drawing along their arm as they tried to block it, and you just hit that instead. Hitting into the bone, you can see the white bone as the blood covers your sword and the snow at your feet. Do you want to stay where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Bring us up to the Manticore, who is going to look down at Ellory, who's continuing to be annoying and striking at her. Is going to strike at you. Is going to use its second. No, I think it used 2. I should have marked that. Okay, I thought it used 2. So it's going to use its last feral instincts on you, Ellory, to gain advantage on the attack. It doesn't really need it. But that's a 24 to hit.
Oh, yeah. That hit.
Okay. And it deals 11 piercing damage.
And I'm out again.
Old max damage as it into you. As you just are kind of standing up, hand to the left onto that boulder as you're just eyes around looking for the next target as it into you. So that is another strike. Seeing you down is going to eye its next target. Vesper's been a little trouble. Medley's been a little trouble, but is going to start to look at these bigger individuals here. He's going to go ahead and take the slashing damage or piercing damage from the thorns as it begins to move.
7 slashing.
Okay. So it shifts over as it takes... Damn. That's hurting him, but not enough to slow him down. He can deal a lot of damage, and it's not worth it to get that up. As he kind of... just enough to get to the other side, clawing its way onto the wall at the other side, looking at these individuals here. Is going to go ahead and do... So there's one at Ellory, and is going to do one at Kalvyn and one at Ball. So against Kalvyn, that is going to be a 14 to hit.
Magic number.
Okay. As the spike comes down, 11 piercing damage. As the spike kind of comes down, you look up at it, and it kind of right into your right shoulder, piercing into your chest through the armor. The second spike is going to go towards Ball, and that one is that's good, 12 to hit.
Nope, you miss, sucker.
You kind of halfway duck, but really it just kind of bounces off some of your chainmail, partially shattering the spike. There's 2 more spikes. And it is going to... That's all it can do. Okay, so it's going to stay there. And it's probably fallen about 5 more feet at this point. Just scraping, so it's about 30 feet in the air. And that's going to bring us up to this guy, which is totally dead, and down to Luke again.
Okay. I'm gonna try and move to where I can get a little bit better of a shot. I don't want to be close to him, so I'll go that way. Alright. If I go there, can I see him well enough since he's up higher than everybody?
Yeah, you can see him pretty well. Yeah, from there.
Right. So I'll go ahead and continuing to try and take shots at the Manticore. 12. Not good.
It actually hits into him, but it looks like you're just unlucky. And it hits into the thorn vine that's wrapping around him.
Okay, how high up is he at this point now?
30 feet up at this point from the ground. Right, and that's the bottom of his tail area.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay,
flip him off again. And
as you're reaching for your quiver to grab your next arrow for your next strike, you flip him off. And that's going to bring us up to Amsen.
Okay, this is going to be great. So I'm going to run up towards Vesper. It's hard to see the grid on this a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to say, Ellory's down and I'm out. And I'm going to, let's try this again, viciously mock the orc in front of Vesper.
That's a 3.
Yes! Finally. So it takes, oh, there we go. It takes 3 points of psychic damage as I yell, I've never ever met someone I believe in as little as you.
The orc who's been kind of staring at Vesper looks over at you, its eyes narrowing. As it does so.
And I place my thumb on my nose and wiggle my fingers.
Ooh, it hates that. And that's going to bring us up to Ellory. Make a death saving throw.
All right. Okay, that's 16.
Okay, so 1 save. And that will bring us up to Purple. Who's still conscious? Okay. And is going to go for ball at this point. 14. Again, just hitting into the back of you, ball. And Nelly is going to step up and is going to go for the pink one. Natural 18, that'll hit. It's going to deal some damage to it. So the pink orc in front of you, Vesper, gets slammed to the side as he's looking at Amsen, distracted for a moment, as an ice sigil slams into it from Ellie, and that's going to bring us up to this guy who's still alive and is going to go for, I think, let's see, under his ball, over his Kalvyn. He's going to go for the ball. Natural 17 against you, ball, which is 23.
That'll hit.
And it deals 10 points of damage as he brings down the axe on your shoulder, leaping into the air in order to reach it, but slamming into your shoulders and kind of rides the slash down, coming back down onto the snow at your feet. And he's going to stay there, and that's going to bring us up to you, Vesper. You see this orc heavily wounded in front of you, a few more orcs surrounding Ball and Kalvyn with a Manticore just constantly scraping against the wall.
So I'm going to shift this way, and as I do, I'm going to bring the spiritual weapon forward and hit Purple with it, hopefully. Okay. Oh, that's an 11.
That will miss as the divine strike missing.
And then I'm going to use my last spell slot on a healing word for Ellory.
Okay. And what's the range on that?
60 feet.
Just enough, okay.
Yep. So that's 8 healing.
Impaled with several spikes at this point. But Ellory, you again breathe in. You have 2 points of exhaustion at this point. Your speed is pretty low. And is that all for you, Vesper?
That's all for me.
Ball your own deck, but first the pink one is going to, as you're focused on healing Ellory,
it also has disadvantage if it decides to attack.
Okay. I was going to do something else, but it already rolled, and so it focused on you, Amsen. It just absent-mindedly in rage just swings to its right, missing entirely. Vesper, you feel your smoky hair get run through by something quick and fast, you feel kind of a splatter against the back of your neck as blood is splattered, but it doesn't hit you. Roll an natural 1. But he is going to just sprint up to you, Amsen, and get up in your grill, so to speak. And that's going to bring us up to Ball.
Oh, no. It's right there. Never mind.
It's going to bring us up to Ball.
All right. So, how high in the air is the Manticore right now?
30 feet.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dodge action. Actually, No, I'll just sorry, it's like literally just in my range, so that's why it kind of matters.
So it's kind of at an angle too. Like if you were in Kalvyn's position, maybe it would be right above you. Okay, you can try, but it's kind of just beyond 30 feet because you're also 10 feet away from it.
So you're saying
it's 30 feet up from the ground, but from you it's like 36 or whatever Pythagorean's theory says.
Right. So Ball takes out his calculator, realizes he's still out of range. Calculator. I'm going to take the dodge action, and then going to move such that I am 30 feet under him, or like just as soon as I hit in range of 30 feet. So like I guess that's going to be at least one attack of opportunity. You can tell me where I would have to move for it to be within 30.
Okay. So to get to him, you can move through Kalvyn's space, but you can't through the enemies. So
if I have to go around, that's okay.
10, 20, 25. I'll say that can be in range.
25.
You're going to, what's that?
I can only move 25 feet. So did you move me 25 or 30?
25.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are going to take one attack of opportunity.
And since I used the dodge action, so with disadvantage.
Which is going to be 13.
That won't hit.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast Compelled Duel.
Is that a bonus action?
Yeah.
All right. What does that spell look like as you cast it?
I think I'm just gonna Ball kind of just kind of hear him roar, which is kind of atypical of Ball. Ball's usually pretty quiet. Ball roars out and just locks eyes with the Manticore, and it's a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So it rolled a natural 12. Let's see if it has any modifiers. 13.
That is my DC.
Okay, so it just, as you're kind of staring at it, it kind of looks down, locking eyes with you, and you see the blood kind of pouring out from the thorns and all of the arrows and bolts and spells and fire and ice. It kind of looks down at you as you roar out this loud noise, and then you see its tail whip out, preparing to strike.
Okay, so that's the end of my turn then.
Okay, Ball, that will bring us up to Kalvyn. So there's one orc in front of you, another one to the left, the Manticore is above you, 30 feet.
Now, if I were to throw my spear, that would be a disadvantage, right? Because I'm in melee?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right?
It depends on how it's worded, if it's with a ranged weapon or make a ranged attack roll. I think it's make a ranged attack roll, which it would be, because it is the same as spells, so yes, it would be a disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Then, yeah, I'm just going to attack the fool in front of me. Yeah. That's not going to hit. The second attack will, with a dirty 20.
Yeah, that'll hit.
For another 8 slashing. 8 slashing.
Okay, and again, this one almost goes unconscious, but adrenaline, orcish adrenaline, keeps it on its feet. And you going to stay where you are, Kalvyn?
Yes.
Okay. That is going to bring us up to the Manticore. So looking down between Kalvyn and Ball, seeing Vesper and Amsen over there, it's going to make 3 strikes. First one against Ball. Natural 18. So
disadvantage because I'm still dodging.
Yep. 10 instead. So the spike kind of strikes down towards you. You use your blade to kind of halfway parry it away. The next one is going to go for Kalvyn. It's a natural 20.
Boom.
Which is going to be 11 piercing damage.
I am going to invoke Relentless Endurance.
Okay, so something you've seen from multiple orcs over this fight, you channel it yourself as you kind of give a roar out, maintaining your footing with 2 spikes driven into you. It kind of sees you begin to fall and begins to shift its gaze back over to Ball, and then kind of looks and sees you standing again, and is going to whip its tail once more in your direction. And that is a 15.
That'll do it.
All right. And it deals 9 damage. So it, and as you kind of are roaring, looking up at the Manticore, another spike comes down and hits you, putting you on the ground. Weighing its options here. At this point, weighing its options, it's going to take the slashing damage and begin to turn and almost use its wings halfway and also climb upwards, kind of scraping into it. And he moves to where he gets up to the top of the ridge, actually. Kind of gets to the top, kind of turns around. About half of his body is on the other side where you can't see it, and the other half is kind of looking down, hanging over the edge, looking down at the rest of you. That will bring us up to you, Wink.
Oh, fuck you. I'm just gonna run. Where can I go? How much cover does he have from there?
Half.
And would it change if I moved up like 4 squares?
Not really. Like, the other half is actually on the other side of the peak, almost.
That's fine.
Yeah, so you'd have to be really high in the air to be able to negate it.
I don't have much of a choice. I'm just gonna keep... Nope, 13. That's not gonna hit.
Okay, so the arrow flies up, but with the bad angle, it's hard to get to him. It actually goes near its head and kind of ducks to the side as the arrow whizzes by its head. And that will bring us up to Amsen.
I'm going to take out my rapier and attempt to hit this guy in front of me.
Okay.
That's not great. That's a 12.
And as you kind of strike forward, it kind of takes its axe and just hits the top of the rapier as it twangs and vibrates the thin metal, just missing, actually.
Okay. I'm gonna move just to the right a little bit so that Vesper is exactly opposite of me on the other side of this orc.
Okay, so shifting around to try and flank it as best you can. Ellory, that's going to bring us to you. You're on the ground, impaled with several spikes at this point, one in your gut, but you're breathing.
Okay, I'm gonna push myself back to my feet.
So you have 15. You use 7 of that to stand up, so you have 7. So you can basically move 1 square as you kind of get to your feet, leaning against the boulder in front of you.
And I am down to cantrips now, so I am going to cast Firebolt at the pink one.
Okay. Conjuring flames.
19.
Releasing it, that will hit.
And 1 fire damage.
1, okay. Actually is not unconscious. Maintaining consciousness as the flames slam into his left shoulder. This one's face and shoulders are burnt and covered in ice. Both as it's kind of darting its eyes between Amsen and Vesper. And that will bring us up to Purple, who's annoyed with this fucking sword or divine bow thing and is just going to ignore it and come down to you, Wink. Natural 20 against Wink. Disadvantage, yes, because you're blurred still. It thinks it strikes you, but instead it rolls a 8.
That will miss.
Okay, so the axe comes down. It thinks it's going to sever your head off. And if you were there, it would have. But it just strikes through this blurry vision, kind of shifting between you, slamming into the snow. Frustrated is going to bring us up to Melly, who's going to 30. It's just going to shift over. We can get a better angle at the pink one. Non-great Melly. As the ice kind of shard flies towards this orc. But between trying to dodge and not hit Amsen or Vesper, he makes it a little too high as the other one ducks under it. That'll bring us up to this one. Barely conscious, Kalvyn on the ground turns towards the nearest target, which is going to be Ball. And Ball, you're still in dodge mode, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
19 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. And he's going to deal 11 slashing damage. It's just even in your dodge, you try to parry it away, and you do, but it just takes the momentum and brings it back around, slamming it into your right side. And that will bring us up to... Yeah. What was that, Ball?
I said I'm looking pretty beat up.
Okay. So at this point, Ball, with several orcs around you on the ground, Kalvyn looking rough. You're looking... Blood is beginning to pour through the chainmail. It's already being covered by it. That's going to bring us up to Vesper. You and Amsen has this orc flanked. There's a few more orcs up next to Ball and Wink, shifting the divine bow, drawing back the divine crackling energy.
That is the dirty. That's a 21.
Strikes forth. And this one was just maintaining consciousness with adrenaline and is out.
And then I'm going to take my rapier and stab Pink in front of me.
Okay, so make an attack roll.
So anything because I'm flanked?
No.
Or no? Okay, well, it's a 17.
That'll hit.
Not great. 5 piercing.
Okay, so you strike into its back as it almost pushes it, as you withdraw the rapier, as it almost pushes into Amsen. Amsen, as you push it, the individual off. The orc, it looks dazed, but it's standing. As you see the veins begin to... You see a few on their arms and necks burst, actually, and blood begins to flow as he is in his death stand. And do you want to move, Vesper?
Yeah, I'm going to take attacks, and I'm going to get to ball.
The first one is a 14.
2. That'll hit.
What's your AC?
14.
Okay. Are you using a shield?
I'm not.
Okay. And would you have passed by this other one? It looks like you probably would have.
I think I have to. I had to pass through Wink Square, so.
Okay. The second one's going to try to get one. And that one is a 14 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so they both kind of at you as you just sprint forth. You see Kalvyn on the ground as you pass by.
My AC is 14.
So it would have hit.
So they would have hit.
Okay. So the first one would have dealt 7 slashing damage.
God, okay.
As you run by the second one near Wink.
Less than that, please.
10.
I am out.
As you're running forth towards Kalvyn and Ball, you onto the ground, tumbling. Next to you, we'll see your divine sword not quite making it all the way. That is Vesper. That will bring us up to Pink, who's going to go for you. Amsen just going off of pure adrenaline at this point. And that is going to be a 19.
Yep.
1. So 4 slashing damage.
Okay.
As it slashes into you, just rushing you as best it can. It's going to bring us up to you, Ball. As you see, Vesper's moving in to help you and Kalvyn, but is struck down before she makes it all the way there, falling beneath her spiritual weapon.
And this Manticore is like pretty high up, like 60-ish feet, I think you said, right?
Yeah, like 50, 55 feet, kind of hanging over. Half of its body is on the other side of the crevice.
Can I, is it a full action to pick Kalvyn up? Basically what I want to do is I want to use my lay on hands on him, but then I'd like to ideally not leave him prone on the ground. Actually, no, that's fine. I'm going to go up to Kalvyn, stand over his body, put 2 points of of lay on hands into him.
Okay, so Kalvyn, you suddenly breathe in once more.
And then I am going to try to walk over, kind of like in a defensive stance, in a protective stance, walk over Vesper's body.
Okay, so shifting over to protect. Vesper, that'll bring us up to you, Kalvyn. So you're on your back, but you breathe in as you see Ball's massive hand kind of withdraw from your chest, and your wounds healing up just enough for you to maintain consciousness. Looking up, you see the sky, and you see the Manticore kind of staring down, looking over the edge, his tail kind of whipping back and forth. You can see it's heavily wounded, still bound in thorns.
Okay, did you say 2 hit points? Right, Ball? Maybe?
Yes, correct.
I heard
just 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I wrote it down right. You never know when that extra hit point will matter. How far away is the Manticore from where we're standing?
50, 55 feet in the air. It's kind of hanging over the crevice at this point.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to... does it have, advantage? Cover?
Half of its body, is covered. You could either prepare something or you could try it anyway.
I'm going to prepare. I'm going to try to... I'm going to hold my action to throw my spear and whenever he's not covered. I'll take disadvantage on it, but if as long as he doesn't have cover.
Okay. All right. So drawing back, and are you going to prepare the fire on it, or just going to hold off on that?
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to. Yeah. I'm going to
see you whisper judgment, and as you do, it is wrapped in flames. You used your thing on it before, your blood maledict.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's these 2 different colored flames. This darker reddish color. And then also
the maledict would drop when I dropped. So it's
so it's just the golden yellow flames that erupt from tip down to the edge, crackling at the edge where the spear is broken. As you prepare that is going to bring us up to him. And Wink, what does he need to do to break these thorns as he takes his claws and begins grabbing out them and trying to rip them across?
Let me double check. I believe it's a strength check, but it might be athletics. Athletics.
Okay.
Versus 13 is my DC.
Okay, he rolls a 15. So grabbing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so grabbing across the thorns, he just rakes his claws across it. You can see how sharp his claws are, though he hasn't really used them on any of you yet. There are claw marks on both the left and the right sides of the crevice where he's been just trying to maintain in the air. This one claws across as some of the thorn vines fall down to the ground, withering and dying. And with that took his whole action. But he is going to get up and begin to leap and fly northward.
Can I make my attack?
Yeah, he kind of climbs up over and then begins to fly forth away and out of the crevice. But he does lose his cover as you make your attack.
Okay. 17.
That will hit. As you draw your back.
Shit. Okay, so that's 4 fire damage and 6 piercing.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, Jesus. I want to, kind of, like, follow him, kind of, gauge him as he's going, and as he starts, as soon as his back's to me, I just want to chunk it, and scream out the judgment, and let the flames take over as it goes, and then land, square in his back, right between the wings.
Okay, so as you draw back, whispering the word, and as you throw it, it almost semi-transforms into this a streaking rocket of flames. As it slams into it, you see the flames burst, rolling around it as it and begins to barrel roll. As it's still, the momentum is carrying it forward, as it begins to twist and spiral, and then slamming into the snow, sliding forward, leaving a trail of snow that he's kind of left behind where he left the impact of him against the snow upon the ground. That is its turn. That brings us up to Wink. There's only a few more at this point that are orcs that are remaining standing as his orc slams into the ground, or the Manticore does.
Since the one by Amsen looks like it's gone down already, I know I can finish that off. I'll take the opportunity attack, still with disadvantage.
18?
18 will hit.
First blood on Wink, and that is 5.
Okay. Blur is maintained, and then 21 to hit the one by Amsen.
Okay. Yeah, you hit, and you only need 1 damage, and he is done. As it strikes into his throat. He gargles up a little bit on you, Amsen, before falling on his knees and then on face down to the ground.
And then I'll actually step back up to that one that's over Vesper, and just trying to get its face.
Okay. That'll bring us up to you, Amsen. There is 1 orc remaining, as you see the Manticore slam into the snow in front of you.
I'm gonna look over to Wink. Thank you, Wink. I'm coming. And I'm gonna run up to the purple one and attack it with my rapier.
Go for it.
That'll be a 13.
That'll hit.
Sweet. That is 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay. Yeah, that will bring it. As you bring in the rapier and withdraw it, the blood spurts out. As it blinks in, you can see the veins begin to pop over and form across its body as it begins to look around for its next target, still maintaining its footing. At this point, he's the only one left. At this point, all of you just quickly swarm him. Between Wink, Vesper, Amsen, Ball, and Kalvyn, all right there at him, in addition to Melly down below and Ellory, he stands no chance. So by the time he picks up his axe to go for you, Amsen, an arrow strikes up into his gut. A greatsword strikes up his back, lifting him into the air. Vesper, you strike with your rapier as well.
I'm out.
Oh, never mind. I forgot about that. Sorry. But y'all take this orc out fairly quickly as he falls to the ground. And there is a momentary stillness in this crevice.
I'll run up to Vesper and use my final lay on hands for 1 HP.
Okay. And as Vesper, you come up, you all look around. A few moments pass and no other immediate orcs charge into this crevice. Though you notice it made a loud noise, all this fighting, explosions, and various roars. And you can hear distant horns being blown every now and then. You know there are orcs in the area, and you know they're searching for you. And you know you've made a lot of noise. You're not sure how much time you have, but you have some. At this point, you guys want to take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be back at, we'll say, 43 or 4.
Next time on Back to the Story.
I round on Kalvyn, and I slap him across the face as hard as I fucking can.
Can we all just accept that things happen sometimes?
But I've been thinking about cultship.